So I hope I'm not beating a dead horse here, but I wanted some practical points on what to do when you're trying to stay in alignment and someone you care about is out of alignment.
Understanding what you have heard here today helps, doesn't it?
A little bit. I have an example where my partner of 13 years, we had the best of times and the worst of times. And the last 2 years of the relationship, many things having not much to do with me were not going well for him. And he got angrier and irritable and unpredictable. And so I would write lists of positive aspects because they were so easy to write. I mean, there was so much good there. And it seemed like there was nothing I could do to change any of that. And I knew I couldn't. So I kept trying to stay steady and loving and patient. And nothing was helping with that either. It got more frequent.
Here's what goes wrong a little bit.
Okay.
So something's wonky and you know it and you feel it and you don't want it. So then you do what you believe and what we believe and what is the work to steady yourself. So you're staying steady, your partner isn't. You're staying steady, your partner isn't. And let's say, just for sake of this example, that you're steady and your partner isn't, and you're steady and your partner isn't, but you're steady and your partner isn't. You're steady and your partner isn't. And you're steady, but your partner isn't. It's going to take a while. So you're steady, but your partner isn't. If you're really steady, you don't notice the unsteadiness of your partner because you're in alignment with your inner being who sees it and even finds it maybe amusing, but doesn't find it upsetting because you're steady. And when you're steady, you don't need patience. And so how steady you really were is a little bit of a question, but just let us follow through on this example. So you're steady and your partner isn't. And then you want to take score of what your steadiness has accomplished because you've been steady, but your partner isn't. And then as you take score in terms of action, instead of feeling the success of your steadiness, you're calling it not success because your steadiness didn't change your partner. You see what we're getting at? And so your criteria is all screwy because if you think that your alignment with your source is so that you can change someone else, that's never what we've been encouraging you about. Your steadiness is for the benefit of your steadiness, for the benefit of your inspiration, for the benefit of your good timing. Because it's like you say, some good times and not good times. And you said a very powerful word. You said it's his unpredictability that's really bothering you. Well, unpredictability, we've talked earlier today already about the power of law of attraction, and what it's really about is timing. So if you really are steady, law of attraction is going to affect such wonderful timing that the majority of your rendezvous are going to be positive because that's what you're calling for. There's something that is very unsettling, and it doesn't work well for you at all. If you come to a gathering like this and you learn about the laws of the universe and you practice your vibrational alignment, you practice being in the receiving mode, you get really good at it, you're step 4 receiving mode, and then you stop and you say, but what good does my receiving mode do because this thing that I care so much about is unchanging, then you're not really step 4. You're still doing what most everybody does, which is need him to be steady so that you can be steady. So you're looking at someone who's not steady as your basis of stability. And when you look at somebody who's not steady as your basis of stability, you have a rough ride. But when you don't pin that on him, when you don't make him and how he feels be your reason for how you feel, there's such a freedom in that, freedom for him and freedom for you. When you say, my well-being is not dependent upon what you're doing or not doing, so just work it out in whatever way you do, and I love you so much, but I'm going to feel good anyway.
So that's how the split happened. Because I would say, I love you, and I'm going to go in the living room, and I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to try to get myself on center, and that would make him angrier.
Well, because it felt like you were choosing something over him. But here's something that you can say, and there's no permanence.
Well, it's over now.
It really isn't.
Not for me.
It really isn't. Here's the next thing that you could explain. And this is really worth explaining. And maybe it would have been nice if you could have explained it before the seeming permanent split, but it doesn't make any difference. Once you find alignment, law of attraction will organize the timing for you to have another opportunity to express this. So this is something you really want to explain, something that you all want those in your life who are out of sorts to understand. The reason that I want to come into alignment with who I really am is because that alignment is important not just to me, but to everyone whom I focus upon. So that's something really worth saying, whether they understand it or not, because the more you say it, the more you understand it. But we don't know of anyone who could resist the sweet words that sound like this. What looks to you like my pulling away from you is my very focused and deliberate intent to focus exactly upon you. I am not forsaking you. I'm focusing upon the full, pure, positive aspects of who you are. And when I do that, it fills me up with a love and appreciation for you unlike anything that I've ever felt before. And just because you're not there to meet me in that doesn't mean that I'm not flowing it to you. One day, we were talking to someone about her son, and we encouraged her to do what you're doing, to go into the other room, to not empathize, because this is the law of it. So let's say your partner is here in terms of the way he is feeling, or worse, really feeling bad. And you are here, which makes him feel like you're not there for him. But if you stay in alignment and focus upon him, it doesn't feel like you're not there. Humans are used to their partners joining them here. That's what empathy is. Most humans don't quite know what it tastes like for their partner to stay here and focus upon them. But you can stay in alignment with who you are while you focus upon your partner. And that's why you can then write a list of positive aspects. So you might say, and he might think you're crazy, that you've discovered a very big difference in the way it feels in your gut when you empathize with him in his problems and when you feel compassion for him or anyone in his problems. In other words, you're not denying that he has problems. You just want to be solution-oriented because you care about the outcome. You're not forsaking him. You're not denying him. So we said to this mother who we were encouraging her to sort of walk away from your son. If you need to walk away, if you need some distance so that you can practice this compassionate attention upon him, then you must do that. And she said, he'll think I've forsaken him. He'll think that I'm forgetting about him. And we said, he will not forget that if every day from that place you call and say, I'm thinking about you. I'm knowing our value together. I'm thrilled when I think about who you are. It makes me happier more than any other thing when I think about the value that you offer to the world. When I think about relief coming over you, it makes my heart sing. When I remember who we are together, I'm thrilled by it. No one is going to feel forsaken when you're saying those words. But what you've been doing is what she was doing, joining in the empathy and then not having anything good to say. And then walking away because that felt bad.
Well, I felt like I did a pretty good job of doing it, but it kept happening. And so then I got burned out. I just couldn't do it.
Sometimes law of attraction provides this harmony. Sometimes law of attraction and harmony are you going one way and another going another way. But we're responding to the vibration that we are feeling from you. And it doesn't feel like harmony to us. It doesn't feel like harmony to us. There is so much in the relationship that is a vibrational match to who you both are that we think a little more patience with your partner being out of the vortex and you not giving a rip about it because you are in it will sustain you enough that you will be able to influence enough to at least get your partner to take responsibility for how he's feeling. Most of the world is saying, I don't feel good and you need to do something different. And then you all are kind of in a hard place because you're learning, I can't do enough that's different to support you. It's exhausting. But once you do come into that alignment in a steady way, then you'll get a private jet. That's a pretty amazing experience, don't you think? And things like that and even more amazing will come your way all day, every day. That's what that sweet spot is.
So while he's yelling at people at a party, literally, I was like, I really don't know what to do right now. I can't pretend like this girl's, our friend's not crying right now because he's on this crazy tear.
But you see, as you take an example like that, that memory, that past, which isn't happening now, is not the conversation that's going to shore you up in step 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. You're not going to get to that steady vibration by remembering those kinds of things. But there are all kinds of things that you can recall or that you could focus upon, or as we began here today, you could get off the subject altogether. Do you believe in law of attraction?
Yes.
Do you believe that you have a vortex?
Yes.
Do you believe that your relationship with this person is in your vortex?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you believe that your inner being knows that this relationship with this person is in your vortex?
Yes.
Do you believe that your inner being can call you toward this?
Yes.
Do you believe that this is gestating and that you can be inspired to thoughts and words and actions that will eventually bring about the manifestation that you want relative to that?
I think I'm at hope.
Well, that just means you haven't hung around here steadily enough for the inspiration to come. It isn't unusual. In fact, it's very usual that when something that you want isn't showing evidence right now, that you clunk another doubt engine on your train. But the less you do that, then the more you'll feel good anyway. You know what we would really love to hear you say? Your partner doesn't want to hear this, but this is what we would really love to hear you say. I don't really care what you're doing. I'm happy and I love you. That's what we'd like to hear. He's crazy. He's acting like a nutcase at parties, but I don't care. I'm happy and I love him. But as long as you're saying he's crazy and he's making me crazy, then you're not where you want to be. And you're blaming him for it. And that's kind of the deal that the two of you had coming into all of this. You said, I will not hold you responsible for the way I feel. That's what you said. I'll find you somewhere out here in this great big world. We'll come together and you'll act like a nutcase and I'll stay in alignment anyway. That's what you said. And now you've changed your mind. Oh, it was easier when you weren't acting like a nutcase, so I'd like to go back to when you were acting with more decorum.
That's easier.
Much easier, but it's not as much fun. If you play tennis, do you look for the one you can whoop every time?
No.
In other words, don't you really like a good competitive race about anything? Doesn't it bring the best out in you? And isn't that the point of this relationship, to bring the best out in you? And if someone makes it easy, if someone just walks around being all lovable all the time, do you learn anything about your alignment? Does it set you up for life in the real world? Or do you just go into a deeper, darker corner where only lovely people hang around with you? It can be very, very boring to be back there with that one friend who stands on his head to make you happy. You get out in the world where people are behaving in all of their diversity and you're not prepared for your own balance. But when you find your own balance, then you're out there in the world and people can be doing all kinds of things that you consider to be crazy, and it doesn't upset your apple cart because you're in alignment with Source. You've got the leverage of all of that. Things are working out for you. Your standby plane won't let you on, and another one won't let you on, and another one won't let you on, and then a great big jet comes and says, ma'am, I'll take you where you want to go.
I've had that happen.
This is a really good time for a segment of refreshment.